What's going on, guys? This is my coverage of the 4th annual 2023 Winter Forge training event hosted by S&S Training Solutions. In celebration of S&S Training Solutions' 10th year anniversary as a training company, this Winter Forge would be a joint event featuring Light Fighter Studies Group, as well as, for the first time ever, warriors from One Shepherd Leadership Institute. The field training exercise is the culminating event at the end of every Winter Forge training course. This year, in celebration of the 10-year anniversary, I'd be the patrol leader of the S&S squad, and no other than Dr. Christopher Larson, original founder of the One Shepherd Leadership Institute, would be the patrol leader for the One Shepherd squad. So stay tuned for the battle of the century as we go head-to-head in some of the worst type of weather conditions to operate in, cold, wet environment. The first task of the day for the FTX was to pack all of our gear and issue the op order.
All right, Mike, this is your pre-mission interview. What are your thoughts without speaking too bad because the enemy's nearby?
So, fixing to step off from this. This is some extremely wet cold we got. When it's snowing, as soon as it hits your skin, it turns to water. So, you know, we're gonna be in for it. As far as the enemy, they're gonna be in for it.
APL, what you got?
Just getting ready to step off, trying to hit a few hot spots with some moleskin.
Yeah, we determined that this is the older team by far. I think the median age is what, late 30s, early 40s.
Yeah,
Definitely late 30s.
Yeah, they do have Doc over there though.
Yeah,
He's
so
nearing
they
60.
got the oldest and the youngest.
Roll call. Fucking, I'm gonna be your PL. All right, Rick's gonna be your APL. I'm gonna call your name. Say here. Parker.
Here.
First team leader. Curtis.
Here.
Cole.
Here.
Second team leader. Klein.
Here.
Brad.
Here.
Joseph.
Here.
And Josh.
Here.
All right, so we got a 9-man squad. All right, so we have 9 personnel, team leaders, APL. Always know how many guys you have in your team. Personnel accountability and gear accountability are priorities on any movement that we do. Okay, so constantly be checking that stuff to make sure we're not losing it. And that's to include sensitive items such as maps, SOIs, and things of that nature when we push out on missions. Situation: we are the Brumley Raiders. Okay, to our north, Ullman. The Ullman residents are a little pissed off. Recently, they conducted a attack, essentially, on our people down south. Right? They pushed some of our folks out. They're pissed off. They're jealous of our way of life, and we're better than them, and they know it. Kind of a Globo Gym situation. Okay, so they attacked. Our people fell back. Now our people want some revenge. Okay, we're going to launch a counterattack. So that is essentially the situation in a nutshell. What's going on? The mission in preparation of the Brumley Raider counterattack. First platoon, which is us, okay, even though we're at squad size element, we are the first platoon element. We will conduct reconnaissance in AO Snyder. So AO Snyder is essentially this area down here, shoebox, okay, this big heavily vegetated area that we did our rehearsals in yesterday. Just to the north of that is, you see the open area here, annotated on the map. Our limit of advance right now is the edge of that tree line. Okay, we'll go into specifics later, but that's where we're going to be occupying. And to the north of that is AO Snyder. Okay, so that is going to be the AO for which we're going to be conducting a reconnaissance. We will be conducting that reconnaissance in AO Snyder to the north of Phase Line Dog, which, like I said, Phase Line Dog is going to be the edge of that tree line, in order to determine enemy locations and strength. Be prepared to conduct follow-on missions in support of the company. Okay, so in other words, what's going on? Our freaking Brumley Raiders are going to conduct that assault. Okay, but they need intelligence. They need to know where the enemy is. All right, so that's where we come in. First platoon is tasked with going in there, conducting reconnaissance, establishing where the enemy is, what their supply lines look like, and everything else. Okay, we're looking at light infantry. We're looking at possible vehicles. Unarmored vehicles, so think like technicals or light skin vehicles. To our knowledge, no armored assets. All right, but our job is to go in there head of the company conduct reconnaissance of that area, that AO, and determine what's going on in there. All right, what their strength is, where they're at, if they have any logistical stuff going on. There are named area interests. We'll discuss that once we're in the field and we've established a bivouac. All right, we transition to our reconnaissance phase of our operation. Okay.
Following the op order, gear was staged outside and loaded up into the Unimog for transport. We'd be getting transported out to the field in 2 sticks. The first stick contained me as the patrol leader, the team leaders, and a couple guys for security. The second follow-on stick consisted of the assistant patrol leader and the remaining squad members, as well as the heavier bivouac equipment. The intent was for the leaders to hit the ground first and establish the objective rally point. From the ORP, the leader's recon would be conducted to find a suitable location to establish the bivouac site.
Beautiful out here, guys.
There are many things to take into consideration when establishing a bivouac site in a cold weather environment. Because of the larger footprint we'll have due to the bigger life support systems such as Arctic tents. For this reason, things like terrain masking and overhead vegetation for protection against observation from enemy drones become vital.
Alright, so we were out here doing our leader's recon. We think we found a suitable spot. It's a nice little, reasonably flat area. It's surrounded by thick vegetation. We think it'll be a good area to conceal our Arctic tent. We have decent overhead cover. The best we're going to get anyways from enemy UAV assets. So right now we're just going to start plotting our location. And then we're going to head back to the ORP, link up with the rest of the guys. And once the whole main body gets there, we have everybody, we're going to start our movement from the ORP to our selected bivouac site and start constructing it. established a good, suitable location for our bivouac site. We hiked our way back to the ORP. At the ORP, we made liaison with our other two guys doing ORP security. Now I'm at the drop-off site waiting for the second element to arrive. As soon as they pull up, I'm going to grab them and guide them to our ORP. From there, we'll get situated and then we'll start making movement to our new bivouac site.
Now that the second stick was dropped off, it was time to lead the whole patrol to the selected bivouac location in order to begin building up the site. As you can see, just getting to the site presents its own challenges. Once at the site, we immediately transitioned into the priorities of work. One team was tasked with providing local security. Another team was broken into a tent team, while the headquarters element focused on camouflaging the location. Other tasks including building LPOPs, a rifle rack, a cooking area, and a field shitter.
So right now, we got guys cooking. They're prepping hot water, so we have hot liquids constantly going in the guys. We got a guy out there. We got two LPOPs out and on the exterior of our perimeter. As early in the morning, the rest of the guys are turning to a specific task, building the Arctic tent, prepping food, cutting the pines, camouflaging the site. So everybody's doing something right now. So that's what we're doing. The priorities of work, the security's established. Now we're transitioning into that phase where we're building our bivouac site.
All packs are staged outside of the tent in order to maximize space for the men inside. The rifle rack is essential in a cold weather environment to keep the weapons acclimated to the outside conditions. If weapons are constantly brought in and outside of a tent transitioning between warm and cold temperatures, it possibly creates problems for the weapons and or their accessories.
Alright guys, so we're down here at one of our LPOPs, about 100 meters from our bivouac site. We've established a potential crossing down here on this creek. So we're going to build an LPOP right here to be able to observe and listen for any enemy activity down here. We're also setting up a TA1 field phone. So what we're doing here is getting our line tied off. We've got our phone down here, and then we're going to run our main line back to our bivouac site. This is going to allow us to have communication back to the guys at the bivouac site, relay any information or any requests that we have, and this will also act as a handrail for them to be able to get back to the patrol base and back to the LPOP.
Lastly, we constructed a modified Von Rex shelter for the command element. Operating a 9-man squad, we would not have enough space in the heated tent for all personnel to fit in there. A Von Rex is nothing more than a bunch of old USGI half shelters built around a Dakota fire hole. It's not perfect, but it'd have to do. Once all the tasks for the bivouac site were completed, we began planning for the recon phase of the mission, in which we'd be able to begin pushing north past phase line dog after 2,200 hours. A watch rotation was also established, and then guys started to go into a rest cycle, in which the leadership continued to plan for the upcoming recon mission.
Everybody, team leader, CPO. Okay, so we've been here for 4 or 5 hours. We haven't got any enemy in contact, okay? Doesn't mean that they aren't tasked with conducting reconnaissance in here right now. We might have just been lucky and not stumbled upon them, or maybe they stumbled upon us and we didn't hear.
Mm-hmm.
So, we got to prepare for everything. But I'm going to go ahead and say that I don't think we've been compromised. I think we got a good setup here. We've got all our survival stuff in place, and I think we're ready to transition into a rotation phase, followed by a recon phase, followed by a rotation phase. Okay, so at 2200 we are cleared hot to push past phase line dog. If you guys remember, phase line dog is essentially the edge of the shoot box. Okay, so up until this point we haven't been able to pass phase line dog, but at 2200 tonight we can. All right. So first I want to discuss openly with you guys, so we come up with a good plan as far as rotations, how we want to work this, and then secondly I want to transition into when we still have some lights, we can see each other, and walk this. How we're going to conduct this recon, okay? But we'll get to that here in a minute.
At around 2300, all hands were up and briefed on the upcoming recon mission. The recon mission would go like this. The whole squad would step off at around 2330 en route to a pre-established ORP. From the ORP, 3 two-man recon teams would break off and would each conduct an area reconnaissance of an assigned sector. The assistant patrol leader, Rick, and Josh would stay at the ORP as security and manage communications from all 3 teams. Team 3 consisted of Pat and Parker, who would check out the southwestern part of the AO. Team 1, with Mac and I, would check out the northwest, and Team 2, with Mike Klein and Elroy, would check out the northeast. During the course of Team 1's recon, we stumbled upon a heavy amount of foot traffic on a trail. It was clear to us that we had definitely stumbled upon the bulk of the patrol's movement and not some random security patrol. After recording the grid, we made our way back to the ORP, where we met up with the rest of the patrol and made movement back to our bivouac site. Once back, the men transitioned into a rest cycle. I then began planning for a second reconnaissance mission to capitalize on the intel we gathered. Team 1 would be the only recon team to locate any tracks. From this, I concluded that the enemy's bivouac site must be located in close proximity to where those tracks were found. Just before sunrise, the squad once again withstood to. This mission would be making movement to an ORP that was a little further north than our previous one. Once there, we'd break up into 2 teams. Team 1 would cover the western half of the area, and Team 2 would cover the eastern half. About 30 minutes into Team 1's patrol, we located the foot trails that we had found during the night and began following them eastward until Cole Salmon saw something in the trees that looked to be a tent. After a closer look, we got positive ID on the enemy's bivouac site. I then radioed the enemy's location into higher so that they would still have it in the event that all 4 of us were killed.
Move! Covering! Patrick, move! Patrick, move!
Patrick, move! Oh, you're up next.
Move, moving, moving. That's it. Moving.
After taking a casualty, we began to bound back and then made movement to the ORP to wait for the rest of the squad.
Alright guys, so we just had our first contact. We found the enemy's bivouac site. We had divided up into 2 teams. So we saw it, Mike. We had divided up into 2 teams, Alpha and Bravo. I went with Alpha, led the way, and we linked up in essentially where we left off last night on the night recon. Last night we found some tracks on a pathway, and we just left up. We linked up where we left off and followed those tracks, and Cole actually spotted the hooch. Their hooch was about, I don't know, no more than 15 meters off the trail. So we got online, we assaulted them, and then we started bounding back. Now we're at the objective rally point, and we're just waiting for the other team to link back up with us. See anything? Oh, no, nothing.
Wildlife activity.
What's that?
Wildlife activity.
Okay, but no enemy activity. Okay.
So deer, we didn't figure that was inside then.
All right. We found their bivouac site. Good. We engaged them just to let them know that we were there. We bound back. So I radioed the grid to Hire. So Hire has that grid, regardless of whether we get killed or not. This is what I want to do. I want to head back. Okay, we'll go back our usual route. When we come up to where we got into the woods along that fence, I want to send like 3 dudes up there, but the rest I want to keep pushing. Those 3 guys I want to cover up the tracks on the entrance. Okay, and the rest of us will just keep pushing straight down. Because obviously eventually they're going to start sending recon, and they're going to do it. What we did to them, they're going to follow our track. So I want our LPOP to see them walk by. So I need like, several feet going by, not just a couple. So pass the word to your guys once I get the thumbs up from the 2 team leaders, and we'll step.
Okay.
All right.
So how many guys you want to push on by?
What's that?
How many guys are going to? Do we want to designate some people that brush the trail?
When we get there, I'll just the first 3 that are behind me.
Okay.
I'll push them. I don't think their whole squad was at that bivouac, so there could be a recon out there just waiting on us.
Okay.
So head on us. Okay. All right.
Once the squad was consolidated, we made movement back to our bivouac site. We had successfully located an enemy squad-sized bivouac location and had for the most part confirmed that there was no enemy presence in any other named areas of interest that we were tasked with checking out from Hire. Armed with this information now, we then transitioned into an offensive phase designed to keep pressure on the enemy up north, in order to deny them the opportunity to conduct reconnaissance down south where we were.
Alright guys, this is bivouac interviews. This is our certified chef, Mac. What are you about to say?
Oh, when the times get rough and I know I can see the finish line, I have a drink that I make. It's an Alpha Brain, half a Monster, and then I top it off with hot water. And it's just, I see the finish line.
What are you cooking over here?
What you got?
Some instant coffee, caffeine, beef sticks.
Gotta get them beef sticks, huh?
I'll get them beef sticks and make a turd.
So, just give a little sit rep here. Alright guys, so we're back at the bivouac. We've had to improve our positions, so when we came in here last night, one of the LPOPs that we set up, it looked like it was good at first, but we noticed now that it's daylight on our back, way back, that it was clearly visible. So one of the fire teams has adjusted that. We've kicked into a rest cycle. We're trying to get our guys get some rest because they've been 100 miles per hour essentially the whole time we've been out here. So still rocking one Von Rec, one squad 10, and yeah, we hit the enemy. We know where their bivouac is. So the question is, are they going to move their bivouac, or are they going to keep it the same? Are they kicking out recon patrols in RAO yet? We don't know. So I'm going to sit down with the APL here, and we're going to start coming up with their course of action, next steps.
Mike Klein would then be tasked with taking a fire team plus-size element north to conduct a probing attack on the enemy's bivouac site. This team would mostly consist of the guys that were not involved in the earlier firefight. Despite the lack of sleep, they were hungry and eager to tangle with the enemy.
From their northeast, okay? The reason why I say that is because they're expecting us. They're expecting us to come from this direction, and then we hit them earlier from their northwest. Okay, so their northeast, they're not expecting because we're coming from here, right? They're not expecting fucking dudes to come from this direction.
The butt trail that you identified, what side of the butt trail?
They are on the northern side.
Okay.
But if you walk down that butt trail, you're gonna get fucked up.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
That's why I just needed to know which side of the
Hit me
trail.
with those coordinates one more time. 4-8, correct?
48461942.
4846.
484619 or 42.
Alright, so here's 48461942. So you guys, what I want you to do is get as close as you can without being detected. Get online, and then if you have a good shot, they're unsuspecting. Just launch a fast, hard assault. Remember, you can't enter the river, so keep distance. Make them fucking scramble and everything else. Give them a magazine or two, okay, and then pull out.
Can we make lateral movements?
Get online, assault. Okay? But don't go too far, because remember, you get killed, you're dead. You gotta go better. We're doing this, we're keeping them on their heels. Right? By us doing shit like this, keep them on their heels, means they're not out here like a run.
Oh, okay. Here's the last thing. The section of command. If I go down, the next person in charge is Elroy. After that, it's it's Josh. After that, it's Patrick, and then you just need to RTD man. Alright, let's go guys.
Mike's boys would then make it all the way down and approach the enemy's bivouac from the northeast as planned. However, due to the thick, heavy vegetation, they were unable to get close enough without alerting an already on-edge enemy. An intense firefight would subsequently break out between the two forces.
Feeling left! Feeling left! Got one. 10 o'clock, your position. 10 of your...
Mike's fire team plus size element suddenly found itself being engaged by a large enemy quick reaction force. After an intense firefight, both sides would endure several casualties, but all of Mike's men would subsequently be killed. The end result of this was that once Mike's dead men's spirits returned back to our bivouac site to be respawned, they couldn't share anything that had happened during that engagement with me. However, we had a pretty good idea, based on the sheer volume of gunfire that could be heard from out in the distance, that there was no question that Mike's team had given the enemy a run for their money and had accomplished their assigned mission. Mike's team probing attack would only buy us a couple more hours, however. A small enemy recon team subsequently located our bivouac site by running into one of our LPOPs. A small firefight would ensue before the enemy team broke contact. Hey, you guys start pushing north, all right?
Start pushing north?
Sorry, south. Get together, get your shit, start swinging south, and then swing around. All right, we'll hold the base of fire here.
They got our LPOP knocked out. They got number 5 knocked out. Moving. Who's up? Parker, you up? Yeah. Move to me. Sounds like they're falling back. Brent wants us to push north. Go ahead and move and angle this way. Moving. Set. They got me pinned. I can't see him. I can't see him. I got one. You're moving back.
Shortly after the engagement, we got word from higher that an OC was en route to our position. Despite our bivouac now being compromised, we were about to receive a new mission that was likely to be tasking us with some kind of offensive action. Thus, our bivouac site being compromised would not really be relevant to the final mission.
This is Bravo 3-1. Wait one. They're sending an OC en route again, I think. So I hear the truck moving.
Probably gonna get a fucking...
The Frago? Yeah. Take someone able-bodied to bring the water back up.
Hey, bring it in.
Rally!
Oh, man.
Parker!
All right, so we just got a Frago. So, well, two things. Right before we got this Frago, our PB got compromised. We got attacked from our west. Small force, probably like a 2 or 3 man reconnaissance element. We pushed them back. They fled, and shortly after that, we got a Frago. They wanted us no later than 1700. We need to mark with flags areas that we can get vehicles through for a subsequent attack that's taking place tonight. Not by us, but another platoon. So we've been tasked with, like I said, clearing paths, or clearing a lane or marking a lane for those vehicles to get through so they can get up to phase line bird to conduct that attack. We are going to mark dog and cat. So right now the plan is our patrol base is right here. We're going to move up. We call this the nipple for obvious reasons. And then I think there's a very high possibility that the enemy's going to be laying in ambush. They probably have intel that we're going to be getting ready to conduct this attack. So because of that, we're going to push up to the nipple. Our guys are going to get online, and then we're going to move in force, take phase line dog, in force, consolidate, mark the route. At that point, we're going to push to the edge of this tree line here, and then we're going to move north and then sweep online phase line cat from west to east. That way, if they're laying in ambush, they're probably looking at some of our tracks that we've been making since we've been out here, expecting us to come from the east moving west. So hopefully, if that's the case, if the enemy is out there, we're going to catch them off guard. I just want everybody to understand what the mission is, okay? Right now we're at the patrol base, obviously. All right, we just got attacked. Shocker. Okay. Repelled them. They're out of here. We got a Frago. New Frago is we're assisting another platoon in conducting attack on the enemy's patrol base. Another platoon will be conducting that attack, not us. Okay. We've been tasked with marking lanes, essentially, for that platoon to get through with their vehicles. All right. So what we have, you guys can see these markers here, some little mini chem lights, some fucking flags. We have to go to phase line dog and phase line cat to mark suitable lanes for vehicles to get through that creek. All right. All right. So my suspicion is the enemy is expecting a large-scale attack from us, from our side. Okay, so they may be laying in wait in order to prevent us from conducting these preparatory missions, all right, for our follow-on forces.
After all of our men were briefed, we stepped off for the final mission of the FTX. After reaching the nipple, the patrol then got online and pushed towards phase line dog. Once we arrived at the phase line unopposed, we subsequently began marking paths for the follow-on vehicles. Next, we made our way towards the westernmost boundary and handrailed the fence all the way up to the phase line cat. At phase line cat, we then took a hard right and began pushing from west to east on line to the next area to mark. Upon arriving at the next objective, I figured that the enemy had to be in the area laying in wait to ambush our forces. Judging by the footprints we had left conducting our other missions, I believed that the enemy was likely anticipating us to come up the tree line to our east. We then broke off into 3 separate elements, one moving in from the north to south, headquarters being in the middle to mark the lanes for the mission, and the other team moving south and then coming back up north. After marking the location for the convoy and completing our assigned mission, I then made visual contact with the point man of a very large enemy patrol moving up the tree line from the east to the west. They just happened to end smack dab in the middle of our pincer, and a firefight that ensued was horrendous.
Yep, one moving. Did we get one pushing right? Did one push right? No. Keep, send it, send it, send it! Send it, send it! Keep sending it! Send it! Contact rear! Contact rear! Contact rear, one shooter! Loading! Hey, you're in line of fire! Hit the deck, you got a shooter right behind you. Is that me or you?
At the end of this fight, despite taking several casualties, all of our guys were able to be resurrected by our squad medic. The enemy, on the other hand, was almost entirely wiped out. We would later find out during the AAR that despite being tasked with a defensive mission around the phase lines like we had anticipated the enemy would be doing, they had launched an all-out assault on our bivouac site. The only problem was we weren't there, and we caught them on their way back to their own bivouac site after coming up empty-handed at ours. With most of the small arms fire subduing and our primary mission of marking the 2 paths at each phase line accomplished, we then began to push back to our bivouac site where we are notionally relieved by another unit, making us the rear echelon forces. With us notionally being behind the lines now, we would spend the last night in the field with notional security so that every man could get some decent sleep for the rest of the night. In the morning, all gear was packed up and carried back to the road to be trucked back to the FOB.
All right. Well, the FTX is officially over once we get packed up, but the bivouac site's getting packed up. Parker, what you got to say, man?
Tell you what, man, this has been the hardest one yet. Longest one, highest op tempo. Fucking cold out here. Going through that freeze-thaw cycle, it's been really difficult. But I think morale's been high. Dude's been running on 3 or 4 hours of sleep in the last 36 hours. So I'm feeling good, ready to get back to the FOB, get some breakfast, and do a nice debrief and talk about everything that happened.
So what you're saying is this is the best winter forge ever.
It's the best one, man. Best one, hands down, hands down.
Not a bad way to celebrate 10 years of S&S history, right? What you got, Klein?
Parker couldn't say any better.
Yeah.
It's freaking cold. Stuff got wet and then it got frozen. Energy levels are low. We still were accomplishing our missions in spite of that, in spite of everything. It was a good roll.
Yeah, yeah. Who else? Who else? What you got, man? Were you at the first Winter Forge?
No, that's, I was at the original first
one.
Yeah,
yeah, the very first one.
Yeah.
So what's your comparison of the very first one and this one?
This one's 1,000 times better.
Yeah.
Longer duration out in the field, better temperatures to work with.
Yeah.
You have to learn how to operate in the cold. Achieve the missions in the cold.
Yeah.
And embrace the suck while being in some temperatures.
What about you, bud? What you got?
I just said we got to do more this time than from the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the op tempo was a lot better, way improved.
Yes.
Last time we just sat in the patrol base the whole time, looking out with our guns pointed out.
Yeah.
I love it though.
Real quick, Con, you get me?
All right, guys. So yeah, just piggybacking. This is my third winter forge, and this one was awesome. As you guys can see, the snow is still thick. We could still run snow camouflage out there. The snow essentially started when the FTX started. It's crazy. It's like the freaking Viking gods interjected once again. So awesome experience. I think we came out on top. I don't know, but maybe I'm biased. We'll find out in the AAR.
Once back, we'd have an after-action review over the whole FTX and move to a final formation.
We had Blue 4PL, if you'll come up and just mark your control base, give us like a 15-second version of your op order, what your plan was.
Group, attention! Move! Cole, post!
Stand these guys. All right. What do you guys think? Winter Forge 2023. Yeah, you guys blasted through the toughest weather we've had for Winter Forge yet. All right, and as long as the gods keep smiling on us and providing this great weather to train in, we're going to keep hosting this event. Okay. I hope you guys make it out again next year. Make sure you tell all your other friends that patrol about Winter Forge and how they need to come out here and learn this skill set and not just read about it and watch videos online, but actually come out and participate in it. Parker, do you have anything you want to say?
Yeah, thank you guys for spending your money with us and coming out and choosing to do this. It means a lot to us to have you guys out here. Hope you guys learned a lot of good stuff. I know there's times where it sucks, but I think looking back on it, these are going to be some of the best memories that you guys have of training. But once again, it's appreciate you guys coming out and spending your money with us.
Guys, give it up for Parker. He put together the meal plan for this event, which is the single biggest cost for the event and also the hardest to figure out. So give it up for Parker.
Yeah, there you go.
Give it up to LFSG and particularly Tyler Jackson for coming up with most of the curriculum and being the backbone of the brains behind this event. Thank you. There you go. All right, Stephen Hines isn't here, and Henry Kerfman, who had a small eye injury. Well, I wouldn't call it small, it's an eye injury, so you only get 2, right? Give it up for those guys because they stayed behind, did white cell, did the stuff that no one else wants to do so we can go out and play and have a good time, man. Appreciate it. If you're back by the time you guys leave, make sure to go around, shake your hand, and give them thanks because that is literally a thankless job. It really is. So, who else? Brent and Chris Larson, guys coming out, sharing the knowledge and about Winter Forge on your channels and giving Winter Forge the high praise that you guys have in the years past. Can't thank you guys enough. It's how people find out about the event, and it's what brings people here. So thank you guys for fucking bringing this.
All 4,000 of my subscribers, Brent's jealous.
Yeah, congratulations on the 500,000 subscribers again.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, you called the weather for the first couple of days event. That was fucking crazy, but then we got this awesome snow that's still here with us. So beautiful, beautiful. All right. At this time,
all newcomers to Winter Forge, including our new One Shepherd guys, became full-fledged S&S members and subsequently received their S&S
deployment
patch.
side since you're One Shepherd alumni.
There you go.
Congratulations. Thanks, buddy. Good luck in the Marine Corps.
The last thing on my agenda is to personally thank my APL and team leaders. Without their hard work and superb leadership, we wouldn't have been as successful as we were.
Hey fellas, I just wanted to say that we wouldn't have been successful. Great.
Let's get my truck loaded.
Have my own special thank you. All right. You guys are fucking hard work.
Thank you, dude.
So I appreciate you telling me.
Thank you, bro.
Well, that's it, guys. That concludes the 2023 Winter Forge training event. I hope you all enjoyed my coverage of it. If you have any interest in attending the next Winter Forge, be sure to check the description box and the links for the S&S website. Thanks for watching, guys. And remember, to be a full spectrum warrior, you got to train in all conditions. Hope to see you next year.